Lyndon Johnson's presidency was bookended by assassinations. He took office after John F. Kennedy was killed and left office after the murders of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK's brother, Bobby Kennedy. Kyle Longley and I talked about Johnson's reaction to the assassinations and why he never ran for another term in office. His presidency is bookended by assassination. Did he look at it that way? And also, can you go a little deeper on Bobby Kennedy, because they were blood enemies going way back?
Oh yeah, I've tried to find something similar in American history, and the closest I get is Hamilton and Burr. I mean, these two hated each other, and they're of the same party. That's the other irony of it. It's not partisanship, they just hate each other. But when Bobby Kennedy is assassinated, Lyndon Johnson steps up. And it's one of the high points, I think, of 1968. He takes care of the family. He makes sure that they have everything that they needed. He puts aside his animosity and shows great empathy toward the family. I just talked about this in a Washington Post piece where I tie this to President Trump and John McCain and what the president could learn from Lyndon Johnson. So I think that is especially important to keep in mind. He went above and beyond to try to help the family.
Does he feel in any way just haunted by assassination?
Yeah.
As a president, again, the bookends?
Yes. Well, and you look at one of the major things that he tries to do after Bobby's death is gun control, and fails miserably. He goes so far as he knows he has about 2 weeks before the NRA gets organized, and he tells his guys that. And this is one of the pivotal moments where the NRA starts to become much more aggressive, battling back gun control in 1968.
Yeah. So, the pivotal moment in political history is LBJ announcing, was it in March?
March 31st.
That he would not run again.
Right.
And so he was a lame duck for much of this year, but let's start with that announcement. He had this prepared going back into 1967.
He'd been floating it around forever. He actually, you could take it back to 1964 when he's in Atlantic City and he's really starting to question whether he's really the man to lead the Democratic Party. And he talks about pushing aside and retiring. But nobody really takes him seriously. But by 1968, two things are at play. One is he wants to see peace in Vietnam. The second is his health was wearing on him. He doesn't want to be like Woodrow Wilson in the second floor of the White House, incapacitated. And so he says he does this for health reasons as well as trying to get us out of Vietnam. And I think he's firmly committed to that. Now, it fails miserably in the long term, and it goes on for another 4 years.
And as a lame duck for, what, 8-9 months of that year, could he accomplish anything?
Well, I think you do see some, like in the aftermath of Martin Luther King. He does get the 1968 Fair Housing Bill passed. He does get some gun control, but it's much more watered down than he pursued. But it does play a role in not being able to get Abe Fortas nominated to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, because the Republicans argue that the next president should make that decision. If that doesn't resonate with us today, I don't know what will.
And that's our show for this week. Thanks very much to